Hi there, this is David, and today I want to talk about Dragon Quest III HD2D Remake, and specifically the hints and the tips, beginner's hints and tips. What do I do? Where do I go? What do these personalities do? What do the stats do? What about these job classes? I'm going to be answering all of those questions for you here today, and I do think that that's worth the sub as I try my hardest to hit 100,000 subscribers. And I know that with your help, your like, and your sub, I can get there. Personally, I have been loving the game on my Nintendo Switch. That is where I have been playing it. I've been having a blast. So I do want to get with y'all and talk about what are some best practices with this game. But first, before we do that, let's have a word from today's sponsor.
This video is sponsored by Goblin Slayer Another Adventure Nightmare Feast, releasing both physically and digitally for the Nintendo Switch on November the 15th. This here is based upon the hugely popular anime series of the same name, and it was created and designed by the same people who created that anime. Though worry not, you don't need to have watched the show to understand the story here. This is definitely a throwback to simpler times, namely those strategy RPGs that came out back on the PlayStation 1 like Final Fantasy Tactics and Tactics Ogre. Taking place in the Four-Cornered World, you play as the Guildmaster, who found out about an ancient artifact said to resurrect the dead, and along the way, of course, a colorful cast of characters, both original and from the anime, join up with you to find it. But can you keep the artifact safe from the minions of the Demon Lord? Find out here in this visual novel meets strategy RPG. And if you would like to wishlist this or purchase it for yourself, please do just click the links below in the video description. And now, let's get on back to today's video.
First up, search everywhere. While this tip might sound like a no-brainer to some RPG veterans out there, I do know that many newcomers will be playing this game. Not to mention gamers who's never played an older game back on the NES or SNES, or even those who've never played a Dragon Quest game before, so this definitely does need some mentioning. Items don't just magically appear here. There are no little sparklies to search out for, and back in the day, designers weren't exactly nice about where they hid things, if you catch my drift. I mean, those developers really did want you to search every single nook and cranny, so you need to do the same thing here. The safe bets are searching every single jar, barrel, bookshelf, hanging bag, and barrel that you come across. The vast majority of them will have an item for you. But also, if you do see anything out of the ordinary, be sure to check it out too. Search it like you could search a fountain, or a well, or a bed of flowers. And if you really do want to get everything, then be sure to have a thief and use their nose for treasure ability, which will tell you how many treasures are left in an area as well. Number 2, let's talk seeds and stats. When you're over at Patty's party planning place, you will be given 5 seeds to distribute as you see fit amongst your prospective party members. So I think that this would be a good time to talk about the stats and what they do, so that you'll be able to make an informed decision as far as which job classes should receive which stats. Strength obviously affects the physical damage that you deal, while agility not only affects turn order, but also your defense, as half of your agility stat is added into your defense stat. Your HP growth is affected by vitality, and your MP growth is affected by wisdom. In addition, you can only learn certain spells after you've crossed a level and wisdom threshold, so you will definitely want those seeds for your spellcasters. And then there's luck, which is kind of useless, as it really only affects how often you'll be afflicted with a status ailment. Number 3, the Cult of Personality. Once you allocate your seeds appropriately according to your job classes, you'll then be assigned a personality. And not all personalities are created equal, and you can't ignore them either, as they do affect your stat growths. For example, if you get something like a tough personality, you'll get higher stat growths in strength and defense. But if you get a smart personality, you'll get higher wisdom growths. And there are 45 different personalities that are pretty much randomly distributed amongst your party members. Keep in mind though, only the hero can choose their personality through the question and answer session with Rubus at the beginning of the game. So if you really do want to go for the best personalities out there, then I would suggest the Vamp or Tough personalities, as they do provide very nice stat growths. But if you don't want to be bothered with randomly resetting all the time over at Patty's place, then do be aware that it is very easy to change your personality. Searching bookshelves will provide you books which will permanently change one character's personality. And then there are tons of accessories out there which can change your personality if you equip them in the main accessory slot. So I wouldn't stress too much over the personalities at the beginning of the game, because once you hit the class change in level 20, you will be able to change them pretty much as you see fit. Number 4. The wide world of weapons. There's kind of a theme going on here. Just as all stats and all personalities are not created equal, neither are the weapons. And while most weapons do attack one single monster, there are particular groups of weapons that do work differently. After you find 2 mini-medals, you'll get a spiny whip from the mini-medal collector at the bottom of the well in Eliahan. And these can be equipped by many different classes, and they're incredibly versatile, hitting entire groups of enemies at once. The boomerangs work similarly, except that you can hit all the enemies on the screen with them. But do be aware that neither of these weapons can inflict critical hits, and their damage does decrease as they go across the screen. They'll deal full damage to the enemy on the left, and then it will subsequently go down with each further enemy. Some weapons also have special attributes, such as the Poison Needle, which is a 1 in 8 chance of instantly killing an enemy, and many staves can also be used as an item in battle to cast some spells, kind of like the Wizard's Wand being able to cast a Fireball spell. So do be sure to play around with the various weapons that you find, and also remember, if you have a merchant in your party, you can use their appraisal skill to find out even more secrets and uses of the different equipment that you do discover. In number 5, this is a whole new adventure. I'm just going to put this out there, folks. I've played this game a million times using tons of different job combinations, making different little challenges, and on tons of different systems and different variations of the game. I am about as close as you can come to being an expert on Dragon Quest III. I know these original games like the back of my hand, and normally I just kind of go through them all on autopilot. But with that being said, this here still felt like a brand new experience to me. So even if you've played the original game multiple times like me, you might want to treat this as a brand new experience too, because previous dungeons that just led to dead ends now lead to treasures. There are new items all over the place. The shops sell all sorts of different stuff. There are hidden secrets all over the world map. There's monsters hiding out between every single corner, and even the spell lists have been completely reshuffled with new spells, and not to mention the brand new abilities for all the physical job classes. Battling is just completely different. The NPC dialogue has been totally retooled, and all sorts of new areas, bosses, and flashbacks have been implemented as well. So you really just never know what you're going to stumble across next. This here is a whole new ball game, folks. So that's it for 5 hints and tips that I wish that I knew before I began Dragon Quest III HD2D Remastered. So now I want to ask you, what are some more hints and tips that you would like to share with everybody else? Let's all use this comment section as kind of like a strategy guide, to share with one another all sorts of insights and strategies that we can use to make the best use of our time as we all go off to fight against the Archfiend Baramos. I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and if it has helped you out, here's another video that I do think that you're going to enjoy, so please be sure to check that one out, and also make sure to like and comment while you're here, and as always, have a good day.